All right, it is 12:01, so we'll get started so we can be timely today. And I'm sure that we'll have some guests join us as we go, and that is going to be great. So welcome, everybody. I'm Victoria Nelson. I work at Catholic Charities Fort Worth as the Corporate and Community Engagement Manager. I want to welcome you to the second session of our No Poverty speaker series. We're really pleased you're here today to hear from our experts on our My Money at Work program, which includes our director as well as our staff and clients themselves that you'll get to hear from today. Thank you to our overall presenting sponsor, EECU, who's the sponsor of our entire speaker series this year, and today's very special session sponsor, Simmons Bank, that we'll hear from in just a few seconds. I wanted to provide a few housekeeping notes at this time. This meeting is being recorded, and we ask that you please stay off your video and stay on mute until our Q&A session. However, at any time, please feel free to record your question in the chat, and we will get to that during the Q&A. So now, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Donald Hyde Jr., Mortgage Loan Officer at Simmons Bank, to kick us off.
Hello, thank you. How's everybody doing? So Simmons, we partnered with Catholic Charities, and we are passionate about making a difference in our underserved communities, just as well as they are. And obviously, we share the same goal in making a difference. We realize that a lot of families have went through a lot of hard times in the Tarrant County area, being whether it's COVID, whether it was the Snowmageddon, whatever you want to call it, so on and so forth. So I would like to thank Catholic Charities to give us an opportunity to come on board and kind of tell you briefly what we're about. A couple things that we've put in place here at Simmons to help with that is our 100% Advantage mortgage program. And basically, just in a nutshell, what that is we've provided an opportunity for to serve the low to moderate and moderate areas and the opportunity of purchasing a home. And one of the ways we've done that is we're offering a 100% financing loan. There's no private mortgage insurance. The criteria to qualify is really not as stringent as your FHAs of your conventional programs. So we've kind of tried the best of our ability to meet a profitability standpoint as well, but also make it, home ownership attainable. So that's one of our programs that we've done over in the mortgage area to serve our underserved communities. On the retail side, from a banking standpoint, we've also added a affordable checking account. What that does for our underserved communities is that it supports our customers who maintain a low balance, and they use their accounts primarily for cash and checks and just daily expenses. That's one of the, some of the guidelines as far as banking guidelines have been looked at and made in a way to is comparable to the community that we're looking to serve. We provide charitable giving grants in support of health and human services, affordable housing programs, as what we just spoke on, and financial literacy initiatives that specifically support underserved communities and minority initiatives. We have 10 banks in the Tarrant County area, and you can Google them, and all 10 of them will pop up, and you can find one that's closest to you. And then also, lastly, we're located in 6 states, so we're just not in Texas. We're also in Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Just lastly, just a little bit of pat on our back here. We've been named as Forbes magazine of the world's best bank for 2021, and this is our 2nd year running on that. And we've also been named the America's Best Bank and the America's Best Bank for Employers. So please think about us if you yourself have an opportunity, a need in that area, or if you have any friends, family, and/or clients that'll be needing, help in that area as well. Get with myself or Mrs. Stacy Bowers, and we'll be glad to help. And we look forward to continuing the future with Catholic Charities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Donald, and thank you to Simmons Bank for your sponsorship today and for partnering with us on our banking council to help create solutions to walk with families on the pathway out of poverty. It's so special. So thank you so much. Well, this time, everyone, I would love to introduce Patricia Quinones, who is our program director for MYMoney at Work. We know her as Trish, and we certainly love her. I'd love for Trish to introduce herself, and then she has a wonderful presentation for y'all to let you know just what you've been waiting for. So thank you again, Donald, and thank you, Trish.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today as we talk about MYMoney at Work. And I'm going to show you and share with you some of the effects of financial wellness issues that employees face and how it impacts our employers, and then what our program can do to help. So bear with me as I go through to try to put this presentation up on the screen. Can you guys all see this?
Yes, we can, Trish.
Can you? Okay, good. I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. One thing that we know that finances are stressing out employees. They stress out all of us. And people don't realize how much it really is stressful and how it impacts in the world of work. So when we look at some of the issues, you can see that 87% of Americans experience some significant amount of financial stress. If it's being able to pay their bills, pay down debt, be able to provide a lifestyle that they want for their children. The average loan debt is about $37,000, and it takes 18 years in the average retirement length. So 1 in 3 Americans have less than $50,000 saved for retirement. Another trend we're finding is that people are dipping into their retirement to pay off debt, and also now to pay some of the expenses for those that were affected by COVID. And 53% of Americans can't afford the basic expenses if they lost jobs. Studies have been done, and it says 1 in 4 Americans cite issues with personal finances as a distraction to work. And some of these things are really impactful. About 11.3 lost days of being productive for each employee. They become distracted, so there's more workplace accidents. American businesses are losing about $500 billion a year to employees' personal finance stress. Stress leads to stress hormones. People will overeat. They'll have substance abuse. Ex-smokers may relapse or not quit. And they also said that it leads to having a car accident coming or leaving work. And then if you look at those high levels of debt, you know, there's about 23 to 29% that suffer from anxiety that affects the workplace. They have migraines, different ulcers, digestive disorders, hypertension, and they're 2 times more likely to have a heart attack. And so the other part too is when you look at 77% of a person's net worth is wiped out by divorce. And frequent arguments about money is the top predictor of the divorce. And so you see all these statistics, and what we've done for our program, MYMoney at Work, is we want to provide the support employees need to reduce that stress, and that it helps with these workplace issues such as low employee productivity, that employees feel more satisfied and engaged in the workplace, that they're more loyal, and of course that they're going to stay with their employer longer, which also helps when you look at the bottom dollar that the employer has. So what is financial wellness? Financial wellness is effectively managing your financial life. And the 4 concepts are: 1, keeping spending within one's financial means, being financially prepared for emergencies. And that was true not just for COVID, but maybe some other emergencies, such as, for instance, my hot water heater went out at the same time, my dishwasher went out. Have access to the information and tools to make good financial decisions, and having a financial plan for the future. And that is the big key area, is a plan. And so who are we? We are a financial wellness employee benefit program that we provide financial, and it's personal financial and coaching services to the workforce. And so we help employees achieve their financial goals, overcome obstacles, and the big key is strengthen resiliency. How do you cope as you're meeting some of those challenges? And what we do is we create a customized program for each work site, because each work site is different. Each industry is different. The employees are different, where they work, how they work. We assess the employees to determine the financial needs and logistics that work best for them, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we devise a plan in partnership with the employer. So they will know, hey, what are we doing with your employees, and what is it you think that they would need? So how we do it, we have certified financial wellness coaches. We call them navigators. They meet with clients to help them create goals with an action plan. They're an accountability partner, and they work with clients on the mindset and the resiliency, which is the key to when you look at financial wellness. These individuals are outstanding. They love what they do, and they are really the program, My Money at Work program. We are data-driven, and it's not the sense of data for data, but really looking at how we do things, and are they working? Can we make them better? How are they serving the client? How are they serving the employer? And so the first thing we do is we have an employee financial wellness assessment. When we go into an employer, we want to have all employees take this survey, and we ask them questions about what they feel they need for financial wellness, what topics would be interested to them, what type of services would they like, and then that helps us get kind of a jump start on what are some of the priorities that are needed in the workforce. Then as people join the program, the first, maybe the second meeting they meet with their navigator, they take an individual financial wellness pulse survey. It's asking them more specific questions about their financial wellness and knowledge. We take it every 3 months so we can see the progression of their goals, the knowledge that they're gained, what things the coach needs to do with them, and we'll also be able to see the sort of trends that it would be from employer sites. We also work with the employer on launching and a rollout plan, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but that's really important because you have to be on the same page then for the employer to know that we are working as a team on this together. We establish metrics and we track those, and then we also produce reports for employers so they can see what are some of the common goals that their employees may be facing. Maybe there's something that isn't so much financial wellness, but there's something that may be sharing with their coaches. For an example, sometimes we'll hear from a segment of employees that transportation is an issue. And so a lot of this information is really important for the employer to help their employees. So what do we provide to the clients who are the employees? We provide a one-on-one financial wellness coaching on or off the clock. It really depends on the employer, and also it will depend on the employee because some prefer to have conversations with their coach when they're not working. We help them create financial wellness goals and action plans, and the coaches keep them accountable for those. We incorporate debt reduction and credit building strategies. We host workshops and webinars. We also use LifeSense as a financial wellness platform, and this enables the employees to access videos, financial wellness material. Maybe they want to know about student loans, how to buy a house, and they can read it, they can look at the videos, they can look at the information, they can take assessments, they have budget calculators, and they can also share it with their family, and it's available to them 24/7. We also put together a financial wellness literacy with a proven curriculum through CFPB, Financial Social Work, and Credit Builders Alliance, plus some others. So it's information and tools that are researched, that work. Then the last thing that we also do is referral network. There may be some needs of the clients that our program does not meet, and we don't have it, but maybe somewhere in our agency we do. Or there may be community resources that they need to know about, as well as banking institutions to maybe pay off debt or look at getting a mortgage for a home. And so the referral network is really, really important for our program. So sort of the summary is financial wellness coaching is available to all employees. we have found that all employees have some issue with financial wellness. And it's important that to have a healthy workplace, that this program is open to everyone. It doesn't shame the low employees to feel as though they need a special service compared to others when they're facing the same degree of financial wellness issues. We can meet with clients on or off the clock. We can meet virtual. And especially after the pandemic, we can do a hybrid, we can do a face-to-face, on-site. We tailor a program for each employee. So we really sit down and we talk to them about, what do you think your employees need? We look at the surveys, we look at how things work in their organization and come up with a game plan with timelines. We use the financial wellness platform. We do monthly newsletters. And these newsletters give some good information of resources to the employees, as well as topics that they can read that pertain to financial wellness. We provide workshops and webinars. We have the curriculum that I talked to you about. We also do more research and metric tracking than we've done in the past. We also had a grant through the Fender Foundation, and it's using gamification and incentives for people to join the program. So as they join the program and they progress with their goals, they get little doohickeys, whatchamacallits. They could do drawing for gifts and gift cards, or sometimes it's just playing different types of games through LifeSense that you don't get anything but badges. But people like that sort of, to make it less risky, more comfortable, more approachable. And then we also have a well-orchestrated referral plan for agency and community resources that we record in Salesforce, because we want to know, is it working? When we refer a client to our agency or outside, we want to know and get feedback for, so we can use that and make it even better for our clients. And then last, we have a partnership with financial institutions and services. Here's a listing of some of our employers. Before the pandemic, we had maybe 2 more, but look who has stayed with us. Many of these sites weren't as impacted as others, where some of them have lost a great deal of their employees, and now they're rebuilding, and we are with them as they rebuild. And then we have some new employer sites. Delta South Lake is a hotel. We had where we were working with Vanguards, which is a cleaning service that was at the Texas Health Resource Hospitals in HEB, Southwest, and Clear Fork. But we actually are working with the entire hospital in HEB to provide our services to over 1,700 employees. And the last one is Clayton Youth Enrichment Program. And that program is for before school and after school care. And so we're excited to get these new employers on board. This is a quote from Larry Uth, who's the general manager at Omni. And Larry has been with the program when we were called Employer-Based Services about 3 years ago, and he has stayed with us since. He wrote, Catholic Charities continues to be a very successful added resource and benefit to the Omni Fort Worth Hotel. The new MYMoney Work program they have provided to our associates in and outside the workplace has put many on the road to financial freedom, income management, home ownership, and more. The program is promoted to our new hires during orientation, as well as our current team members on Microsoft Team calls with Catholic Charities staff. Our associates are truly excited to discover these complimentary resources, are able to put part of being an employee of our hotel is priceless. Catholic Charities has a true passion for making a difference in the community and the lives of others, which align with Omni's company culture and one of the many reasons we value our partnership. And in conjunction with this, we are going to go face-to-face to meet with 35 of their new associates next week. So we're pretty excited. So how can you help? By God, tell others about us. We will give you handouts, flyers, talk to us, just spread the word. Set up referrals and introductions with potential employers that you think would be good for us. You can do an email introduction and we'll take it from there. and then be our partner and help with funding. We are looking at corporate sponsorships, we are looking at gifts in kind, and we're even looking at possible very reasonable funding that we can get from employers to be able to go in and help their workforce. So thank you today for allowing me to talk about my money at work and answer any questions that you have. My contact information is here, as well as Victoria Nelson, who you met with in the beginning of the program. And we also have Judith Alexander Priest, who's our director, as part of the audience.
Thank you, Trish. And now my colleague Caitlin Young is going to share a couple client and staff testimonial videos so you can see what this program looks like in action.
I have been blessed to have two navigators, Raven and Lily. Raven was my first, and bless her, did she have her hands full. She taught me how to budget and how to determine which bills earned interest and which did not. It was like working with a friend when I saw her. Her sweet spirit and patience are so unusual and such a gift. Lily also had her hands full. You came about the same time as my department partner went on FMLA, and I was handling the calls all by myself. I kept having to cancel meetings, and Lily was patient, and she kept checking with me and would reschedule me and help me go over my my credit report and to understand it. I got the best of both worlds. Let me try that again. I got the best of both worlds with Raven and Lily.
Aw, thank you. That's so sweet. Lisa, even though I was only able to work with you for a short period while Raven was out on maternity leave, I was able to see your passion towards helping others and drive to meet your personal goals. When you set your mind to do something, you work hard towards achieving that. Despite the setbacks that you have experienced, you have remained positive and kept a smile on your face. That is so admirable. You have such a warm and welcoming presence, even on a virtual screen. I know that you will continue planning for the future and setting yourself up for success. I have no doubt that you can achieve all of your financial goals. I'll continue rooting for you from the sidelines, and I look forward to hearing more about your success.
Thank you. It's very sweet.
In our time together, you have managed to reach all of your goals. Not only did you surpass your goals and savings, you've added to it. You knew that there were issues on your credit out of your control, and you fought hard for yourself to pay down your debt and fight for things that were not correct. You now have zero harmful debt and nothing but opportunities ahead of you. I'm so proud of you for advocating for yourself and seeing that once you started, it was much easier than you expected. It has been my pleasure to walk alongside you and watch you achieve these goals. I look forward to seeing what else is in store for you.
Thank you. That's so sweet, both of you. Thank you so much.
It's very true, Lisa.
It has been an honor to work with both of you.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to stop this recording before we get off the sheet.
I know, you're so sweet. No, you really are. You have such a warm presence, and even through the virtual screen. So I can just sense it. I can sense that you're just as genuine. I can imagine you being as this genuine in person as you were on screen.
She really is, and she was not kidding when you said I would just pop into the offices there, even when I wasn't meeting. It was just I missed that.
Good afternoon. My name is Ricky Starr. Happy to be here this evening. This past February, Vanguard, which is my place of employment, began offering a new program through Catholic Charities. I've heard of Catholic Charities, but I thought it was a typical charity organization that just helps you pay your bills. In fact, when I heard of the program, I expected to receive some kind of financial assistance at some point. The way I viewed the program changed after meeting Coach Antoinette. She asked me what my expectations were and why I decided to start the program. I was not expecting these type of questions. However, she told me that giving me more than financial help, the coaching sessions were designed to help me in other areas, and I found that interesting. I decided to attend my coaching sessions, and after a few months, I realized the program definitely was more than giving me help and paying my rent or any bills. My coach every week was following up on my goals, and every session she was encouraging me to continue to achieve my goals. I started saving money and adding this behavior to my life. I previously lived check to check, and now I have savings. Beyond that, I learned how to prioritize and put my goals in order. I knew my coach was going to ask me the next session, so I began to organize and use my time wisely. I really needed that push. These are not skills I was taught, and a lot of these things in my past had held me back. Before, I used to think these opportunities were not for me and were for other people. I remember living in my life in a black tunnel, but today, my vision. I'm thinking outside the box. I can see many opportunities around me. My coach, Antoinette, helped me build my foundation, and today I feel more confident and believe in myself. I believe faith is dead without works. I have accomplished more goals in the last months than in my whole life almost. I have many goals to achieve in front of me. However, now I'm focused on being a certified surgical technician. I feel in my heart I'm finally going to pass the test. I'm grateful and honored to share my testimony and this inspiration to others who have desire to move forward. And now that I receive more than financial help, my mentality's changed, and I will keep this new way of seeing life for the rest of my life, and I'll pass it on to my children. Thank you to my coach, Antoinette. Thank you, Catholic Charities, for giving me a great opportunity to become a better version of me.
Thank you, Caitlin, for sharing those stories with us. And thank you to our clients and navigators, including Lily, who's on this call, for making those stories possible. All right, now we have plenty of time for question and answer. I've got some questions that I have, but we definitely want to hear from you, our guests, first. I'll invite Trish to join us back, and Lily as well if you want, and we will answer your questions. Thank you. Feel free to unmute yourself, come off video, or if you prefer to raise your hand, I will call on you. Trish, why don't we kick it off? I know we'll have some questions. I was wondering, if I was totally new to this program and this concept, like many of our guests are, how would we get started? If our place of business was interested in exploring more, what would we want to do?
Sure. I think just talk to me a little bit about the program, and we'll ask you certain questions about where you think your employees are related to financial wellness and maybe other issues. We also like to know the demographics of the employees. We'd like to know how it works when you bring in another program. What's the best way that we can market it to the employees? And then we start talking about the survey. What kind of questions do we want to add to what we've provided to be able to see what is it that they're interested in, and will they participate in the program? And so really it's a win-win. There's no, I think any hesitation from employers, and then they feel so comfortable that once we meet again at the survey and we talk about it, we have a launch plan. How it's going to look, what kind of ideas that we have for outreach and marketing, how we're going to evaluate it, and then timelines. And we just do all the work. We just don't want them to be able to do the work. We're the ones that will say, okay, this is what we're going to do next. Here's the next step.
So it really is that easy. How long does it take typically? I know it could differ based on each employer, but what are we looking at here?
What, the time frame?
Mm-hmm. The time frame. Yes, ma'am.
Well, right now I'm working with Clayton Youth Enrichment, and from the time we had conversations to when he wants to launch, it would be less than a month. And so he's because it's a new concept, he's talking to his leadership, and they're going to look at that survey. Then we're sending it out, and we'll send it out for 2 weeks, and then we'll bring it back, and then we'll work. So
fantastic. Debbie, I saw you had a question. Did you want to share that? Maybe I stole your question.
Yes, I just wanted to ask if Trish, you mentioned about the report to the employers, and I was just wondering if you could go into a little more detail what that looks like. Is it confidential? Is the report anonymous where they don't know what each employee is sharing with you?
Very good question. Yes, all conversations that we have from our clients are confidential between them and the navigator, and we do record it in Salesforce. That is not available to anybody but the navigator and myself. What we provide to the employer is maybe demographics, like saying you have 100 employees that are part of this program. Here's a breakdown when you look at women and men, maybe with diversity, the breakdown in that, maybe looking also at, do they have a college degree, some college. Then we'll also be able to do a breakdown at saying maybe 50% are working on savings, 25 maybe working on debt. And then we can also start tracking it by looking at the movement of those goals, the debt reduction that we could provide, as well as looking at numbers. What is their credit score now, and then how is it at the end? But it will not give a particular person's information. It is just an overview. So that's why we have to make sure that we have enough employees that no one's singled out.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.
Please keep your questions coming, everybody. Trish, could you please speak to some of the most common obstacles that we would help our clients overcome? I know that we have talked about that. That's how you started off. I'm just curious kind of what that really looks like from the navigator's perspective.
Sure. Lily, do you want to chime in, or do you want me to do it? I put her on the spot because I didn't tell her I was going to. Then I saw her in the program. I'm like, hey, Lily. She's probably like, no.
You're on the hot seat.
Well, one thing that we find that seems to be a common thread is savings. People don't have savings, so when emergencies come up, they cannot handle those. And I think with the pandemic, they lost their jobs. And what was great about our program is that, there's other financial wellness programs that will say, see ya, you're no longer working for your employee, you're on your own. And we didn't do that. We turned and we pivoted, we took them and we put them into short-term case management. We helped them with unemployment. We helped them with resources. And so that's what really makes me proud of the program. Some other things that the employees face is huge amount of debt. I mean, a lot of debt, and living beyond their means, not understanding how to budget, living from paycheck to paycheck. And with that debt, then you have other issues. You can't get a car, you cannot get a mortgage. And so that's another issue that they face. Some of them also worry about being able to provide for their children, going to school, student loans. And then there's just little other types of things that come up that they want assistance on, like, we can pay all the bills, we can start working on paying the debt and savings, but I really want to go on a vacation. I haven't gone on a family vacation in 5 years. Can you help me go on a vacation, and how I can manage that and budget that? So that's some of the things that we help them with. It's important to know in the state of Texas, there's 21 states in the country that make it a requirement for financial literacy to be taught in the classroom. So in Texas, we start a little bit in kindergarten, a little bit more in 4th grade, 7th grade, before high school. But people forget that, right? They forget how to do that. They forget the information. And there's new things that come up and new laws, like how do you work with someone who's contacting you and they're a credit collector. They're a debt collector. And so we also make sure that we provide that literacy, that information, so they feel empowered that they can handle some of those issues, and having the right resources and going to the right resources, because not everything on the internet's correct. Not every organization is in the best interest of our clients. Another thing that we do is we are a part of a program, a nonprofit called Raise Texas. They look at how do we pay our employees, what are some of the issues faced with those that have low incomes, and they're great because you see all these apps coming out and these employers want to know about them. I can actually go to a place that can give the positive and the negatives, because it's important to know that before you bring them into your workforce, right? And so that those partnerships are really important for the welfare of the clients. Did I answer that question? Because I know I went off a couple different routes.
No, that was really, really insightful, Trish. Thank you. Debbie has a question about what is the size or number of employees of the company that qualifies for My Money at Work services. And I'll expand on that question too, Trish. We have a lot of CCFW super fans on this call today and in our meeting, and they really, you've shared how we can help, but they've got their thinking caps on, like what introductions would be useful. So what types of companies, industry-wise or culture-wise, size-wise, as Debbie brought up, like what are we looking for in at least that introduction to you to allow you to flesh it out further?
Well, I think first we look at an employer that really finds this is important, and this is not just the HR folks, but for leadership, that this is important and that they're really driven by this need for their employees. So for an example, we're working with Texas Health Resources, HEB, and Fraser Hay is the president, and he is so devoted to this issue. And so then that's a trickle-down effect for everybody to make it work. The second thing we look at is trying to really have a diversification of our employee portfolios. We were, before the pandemic, we're very heavy on hotels. The other side, we were heavy on healthcare. And look what happened. Hotels just plummeted. And then we had the healthcare. And so we want to look at a wide range of industries and also size enough that we can actually participate and go in and meet with employees. So if you have employee base of 50, we would hope you would have at least 30 people that would be interested in it. And that's a caseload for a navigator. We would love to have the larger employer, because then you can have more clients and we can do more strategies with the employer. And then a host of industries. Right now, when I look at industries, we have some that are really interested, but the timing is bad. And that, for an example, is hotels. I had a general manager of a hotel that when the pandemic hit, his hotel closed, all his employees lost their jobs. And now he is working in another hotel and he wants to bring the program back, but they're still in the process of hiring. And so those folks are going to come on board. It's just going to take a little longer. So right now, it would be great if we could have somebody that's already kind of flourishing with their employee numbers and then be able to work with them. And then as others get to that point, that we can bring them along.
That's great. Thank you, Trish. I'll pause here. I have more questions. I always will, but I just want to make sure no one would like to jump in either on audio or video with your question, idea, feedback.
Debbie, your question, were you looking for something specific? I just wanted to make sure.
No, no, I just wondered if there was a minimum number of amount of, but you kind of covered that, you'd prefer like the larger employed companies, but I guess I was curious if a smaller company would benefit from a service.
And they could, and we're not opposed to that. I think one thing with the event, some of the, we want to look at diversity of industry, but also size, is that we can do virtual coaching. And so that's really easy for a navigator. Instead of running from site to site, they'll be able to just be on camera. So if the employer feels like with their small company, they have some interested individuals, then we can do things virtual if that would work. So we're open. We're here to help. And we really want to make it successful for all types of employers.
It's really been great to see the variety of work sites or employers that love to work with us on this program. I think like we find people who've worked with Catholic Charities before and those who haven't, and they're just facing these, they're seeing their employees barriers that they're facing and they really want to help them with it. But they know, hey, for example, I'm in human resources or I'm in pastoral care and, I'm not a financial wellness expert and we're just going to bring in Catholic Charities. There is no catch. Like you said, it's a win-win. It's a total this is a program that we're offering the community. Trish, MYMoney at Work is a 2021 thing. We've taken employer-based services and really helped respond to the community's needs and created a program that best serves us and those families. Where do we want to take this program in the future? Give our super fans some idea of how you and Judith and Rana are envisioning that MYMoney at Work will grow.
Well, wouldn't it be great if we were in so many different locations of our diocese? And have different types of industries when you look at large and small, profit and nonprofit, and really be impactful, not just the numbers of going in, but actually being able to track that information and to be able to say we were successful in helping people achieve their financial wellness goals, to get out of debt, to increase their savings. And so to me, that is so much more important. Like, how many people did it impact, the program, and how many are able to flourish? So it's not like they're at a cliffhanger and they stopped and now they're back to where they started before they met with us. And so to me, that is success of the program. I know that employee testimonies are so important, and I tell my navigators continue for those. But I also think people want to see some actual numbers. They actually want to see, well, how many people are joining the program and is it working? Are they getting out of debt? Are they increasing their savings? Are they able to not be upside down on their mortgage? So is their credit score improved and how did that impact? So I think having some good metrics and data also important. I think the other thing is because we are working in the public and advocacy, we'll hear different things from clients that could be brought to other types of organizations like Raise Texas. So for an example, we have a terrible problem with payday loans in Texas, and especially in Fort Worth. You can have them on in the same street corners and the same next to each other in the low income neighborhoods. In some of the cities in Texas, like Arlington and Grand Prairie, they they have laws where there's only a certain amount of money that they can loan to people. And so what Raise Texas does is they just work with us and can we provide resources or information that would help our cause to maybe stop some of those trends, some of that elimination. And so a lot of our information that we have could be of benefit. So for an example, in Salesforce, instead of recording the total number of debt a client has, we have 5 different debt areas because they may have, 20,000, but they may have 5 from one, payday loan. They may have, 6 from another, and we want to know that. We just don't want to know the total. We want to know where is all this, debt coming from. And is it from maybe a payday loan or another organization?
That's really cool. So you have the whole create, eradicate, transform package that we talk about at Catholic Charities that we live out with our client work. And I know it looks familiar to a lot of of those who are familiar with our agency, but it's also a pretty different program in that we're not just limited to working with those who would meet a definition of being in poverty. It really is at that workplace, anyone who's interested in that bigger, brighter financial future, we can work with them in some capacity. And so it's really neat. I think that is something pretty new for us or unique to this program. So
And I think also another thing to add is when we were working with the employer-based services, we had many clients that met their saving and debt goals, but they had other goals. They were sort of like, I want to continue with it, right? I want to be to where maybe my colleagues are with their higher income, and I think I can do that, and other types of resources that I can use. And I think that started as a form of the catalyst of the program, to be able to stretch it more than just say, that's great, you had savings, you eliminated debt, now your goals are done, right? And they're not. They weren't done. They wanted to continue to be able to help, for us to help them on their financial wellness journey.
That's amazing that we could adapt that way. I'd like to open it up. Judith, Lily, Trish, if you have any final things to share, anyone else to jump in. If not, I have a wonderful call to action to share with y'all, but I'm going to take a pause here, take a drink of water, and see if y'all want to chime in.
Hey, this is Judith. First of all, everyone, just thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. It's really exciting to be able to share this program with you all. I think the thing that does really make us unique that I just really want to emphasize again is that we really customize what we do to the employer side and to the employee, providing just a very compassionate but also healthy education to those that we're working with, because we know that financial, if nothing else, this pandemic has taught us is that financial needs, financial barriers, and challenges can impact anyone at any time and at any moment. So we really want to help our community to be more resilient, and we will see that those efforts just continue to multiply. The more that we touch, the more that they will be able to help their families and end these cycles of poverty.
Thank you, Judith.
I think the other thing, if I can add real quick, when we're building this program, we were researching who's our competition, right? Other financial wellness organizations. And there's three things that really stand out with our program. One is we're not selling something. We're not selling a financial product. We're partnering with banks to help our clients and other resources, but we're not selling something. The other part is that we're in our community, so we know our community. We're not just in another state doing a webinar with an employee and not knowing where they live, what's happening in their community, what resources may be available to them. And then the third one that I'm really, really excited about, and not many people do this, is we have a research team, and we're researching what is it that we're doing and how is it working and what can we do to make it better. And so it is not just numbers, but it is tracking it and being accountable for that, because the other partner besides our clients are our employers. And so those three things are, I think, are the important part of the program that make it unique compared to another financial wellness program.
Well, you know that I'm a huge fan, and I think most people on this call today would agree for themselves too. So just wanted to say thank you so much, Trish, Judith, Lily, all of our staff and supporters they're really making this possible. Not just this meeting today, but this whole program, My Money at Work. It has been amazing to see this program evolve and roll out, and I hope you can share in that excitement with us. We will certainly call you to see what you think. For those of you who are familiar with CCFW, you know that you'll be getting a follow-up call in the next couple business days. And really, what are the ways you can help? As Trish mentioned, introductions for this program would be amazing, or even just conversations with her or myself or your contact person at Catholic Charities. We can help you think about that and kind of go through whatever questions or ideas are on your mind. So that's a great opportunity for when we give you a call to just talk these things out, any questions that may occur to you later too. Also, as you've heard before, serving as an ambassador for our No Poverty Hours is a great way to bring your network to the table, and you can really let them decide what is the best way to get involved with Catholic Charities if they choose to do so. And this is one of the options we'll be sure to chat with them about. And last but not least, if you think this will be right for you or your business or some other company that you know, nonprofit, please do let Trish know. She'll put her information in the chat here. Again, feel free to reach out to any Catholic Charities staff member, but even just having those conversations, even if it doesn't turn out to be the right fit, there's going to be some way that we can help serve. So we really want to be able to make those connections, especially as Trish mentioned, we're still feeling the effects of the pandemic and the winter storm. So it's really important we reach as many families that are in need as possible. And so with that, we'll hang around a few more minutes in case anybody has any questions. But that's the end of our program today. Thank you again so much on behalf of the whole Catholic Charities Fort Worth tribe. I'll let Trish sign off here.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time and your interest. And we're just open. If you have more questions, you can contact me. We can talk on the phone, email, virtual, however you want to do it, as well as with employers. If you have some ideas or you want to refer them to me. Sometimes it takes a few conversations because we have different ideas that we spin around and throw around. And I'll be honest with you, we're not here to sell it. Sometimes there's maybe one instance where we feel like this wouldn't be a right program for this employer, but I have some ideas about some other strategies you can take, because that's important for me, for them to be able to help their employees. And so I'm very grateful to Catholic Charities for allowing my team to help create this wonderful opportunity. And so far, employees are so excited, and same thing with the employers. And so we just want to thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have an awesome day. Take care.